الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن اهتدى بهداه إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد, dear brothers and sisters, this is lesson number 7 of our commentary on the history of the four righteous caliphs. So last time we spoke about Umar al-Khattab conquering all of Syria, Levant, the land of Levant. And we spoke about how the Romans, the Byzantines, were forced to withdraw from all Syria. And Muslims went conquering the lands that are now part of southern Turkey. So they went inside the Byzantine Empire. And they took all Syria. That is one of the sacred Christian lands. So Christians used to and the Byzantine Empire used to consider itself the protector of the Eastern Church. And it remained like that until Muslims conquered Constantinople in the Ottomans era. So after Muslims conquered all of Syria, Amr ibn al-As, when Umar al-Khattab radiallahu anhu, I told you that he went to Syria twice. The first time to take the keys of Jerusalem, and the second one is after the epidemic, the plague that happened, that went killing thousands of people in Syria, and amongst them was Mu'adh ibn Jabal radiallahu anhu, Abu Ubaidah Amr ibn Jarrah radiallahu anhu, and Allah Ta'ala. Umar radiallahu anhu was so sorry for Abu Ubaidah. And he tried to make his best to get him out of Syria. He even sent him a message. He said, "I want you right now." And he understood what Umar wanted. He said, "No, I can't leave people here and escape." So he passed away in this plague. The only one that's made his best to face the plague is Amr ibn al-As when he took place in Syria. So he took the army to somewhere between mountains, whereas there are no people there. So that's where he rescued them from the plague. And it's later on the plague started disappearing. The epidemic started disappearing gradually. So Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu, when he came the second time to Syria to divide people's property after thousands of people passed away, and they sent a message. They said, "We don't know how to distribute our heritage." So therefore, Umar came and he started distributing their heritage. So therefore, when Umar went there, Amr ibn al-As met him, and he asked him the permission to conquer Egypt. And he told him that Egypt is very important, and it's one of the great lands of the Byzantine or the Roman Empire. And therefore, if we don't take it, they might revenge, they might come back and attack us, So therefore, Umar, in the beginning, he didn't give the permission for Muslims to do so. But here, he said, "Okay, no problem. You can go and conquer Egypt." So therefore, Amr ibn al-As went, and Egypt actually was a Christian land. They used to follow the Eastern Church, but they have their own cults. Until now, the the Christians in Egypt, the Copts have their own cults and own church and own pope, who is in Alexandria. And in this era, there was a leader of Egypt uh, who used to uh, to rule Egypt under the authority of the Romans, but he was Egyptian. He was Egyptian. He was from the Copts. So so therefore, he used to the capital actually was Alexandria. The capital of Egypt was Alexandria. So therefore, this leader of Egypt was called, in Arabic they used to call him Al-Muqawqis. He was called Al-Muqawqis. What was his real name? Actually, uh, this needs to search for this name. If any one of you knows what does Al-Muqawqis refer to in English, I would be happy to receive that from him. So therefore, you remember that Al-Muqawqis actually he took he received a message from our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he respected the message from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he honored the message, and he honored the messenger who gave him the message, who was Hatib ibn Abi Balta'a. So, and he gave the Prophet ﷺ some gifts. He gave the Prophet ﷺ some gifts. So therefore, okay, Muqawqas in Egypt, it's in English they call it Caucasian. Caucasian.
Caucasian.
Oh, Caucasian. Yeah, that's it. Caucasian. So that's his. It's actually it's not a name. It's as you can say, any governor of Egypt is called Caucasian. Caucasian. Al-Muqawqis. It's an Egyptian. It's an Egyptian form. It's an Egyptian word in the old Egyptian, which used to be written in in this, it's actually it was similar to Greek, and it used to be written in Greek. You see. So therefore, this guy is a patriarch, and he was called Careless the Greek, Careless the Greek, and he was the patriarch of this church in Egypt in this era, in the Byzantine era. So therefore, the church was a different church, and it wasn't the same church of the Byzantine church. Okay. So there was a different church there, and therefore Egyptians weren't happy with the church, the Roman regime. They weren't happy about that. So anyway, Umar supported Amr ibn al-As with another army by the leadership of Zubair ibn Awwam radiallahu anhu, and they went until they reached to a place called the Gate of Al-Yun. And they went by the rural area of Egypt until they reached to Egypt, which now is Cairo. But Cairo wasn't there. There was a place there. Later on, Amr al-As found a city called Al-Fustat. So therefore, the leaders of Egypt came, and the Caucasians sent some of it. He sent leaders to protect the land from the Islamic attack, and to protect the land. Yeah. So Amr al-As, when he reached there and they started attacking him, he said, wait a second, guys. Wait a second until we tell you our message. And I want the Jathaliq. Jathaliq is this Christian leader that was sent by the Caucasian. So Al-Jathaliq, so Amr al-As radiallahu anhu spoke to this guy and told him Muslims' point of view. Why did they come? And he told them what is Islam. So he said, I call you to follow Islam. If you don't follow Islam, at least pay the annual ransom. And I would like to inform you, that our Prophet ﷺ had gave us an advice and a will. He said, you are going to conquer Egypt. So when you conquer Egypt, take care of its inhabitants, because we have a kin there, and we have a relationship. What does he mean by that? He means that the Prophet ﷺ's wife, or actually she wasn't a wife, she was a concubine, who Al-Muqawqas sent actually. She's Maria the Coptic, and the Prophet ﷺ got from her a son called Ibrahim. So he says these are now our kins. We have ties with them. So he said, be kind to its people, for they enjoy protection and ties of kinship. And the old kinship, what is it? The ties are the relationship between the Prophet ﷺ's son and Egyptians. And the relationship, the kinship, is Abraham's wife, Agar, was Egyptian. And she brought Ishmael. So Ishmael is the father of all Arabs. He's saying that you're going to go to a land that we have a relationship with them. So actually, the Egyptians were so surprised from this. And they said, yeah, this is so strange, because this is an old relationship. How come you remembered this? And this can't be except from a prophet, or people from prophet. Followers of prophet. So therefore he said, I would give you 3 days to think about this. They said, no, we need more than that. He said, no. I'm not a guy that gets tricked by anybody else. Amr al-As was genius. He was one of the few Arabs that were very smart and clever. He's known by that. So therefore, they went back and to Caucasian, and the ruler from the Romans, it is called Artabun. I don't know exactly how to pronounce that name. So he told them. So they told him what Muslims said. So the Romans said, no, we have to attack these guys. And he decided to attack Muslims. and he went attacking Muslims before they started the war. So the Muslims attacked them and they won him. So he escaped to Alexandria, and Muslims reached to a place called Ain Shams, the Eye of the Sun. It's close to the Nile. So actually, Caucasian didn't want to fight against Muslims. Why didn't he want? Because he knew that the Prophet was the Prophet. He was a knowledgeable Christian guy, and that's why he respected the Prophet's message. So therefore, Muslims went until they took Ain Shams, and then they went to Farma. Amr sent to it a guy called Abraham ibn Sabbah, and then they reached to Alexandria. He sent Auf ibn Malik al-Ashja'i to surrender to attack Alexandria, to surrender it. So he surrounded it. Yeah. So when he reached there, he started sending messages to the people of Alexandria, and they waited until they saw what happened to the people of Ain Shams. After that, they agreed to sign an agreement with Muslims that they would give the annual ransom, and therefore, and they asked Muslims to send them back all the captives. So therefore, Amr ibn al-As sent a message to Umar ibn Khattab, and he agreed about that and sent them an agreement that they would protect Christians and people of Egypt and respect them and protect their churches, their crosses, all these types of things that they respect. And they were ordered to send to the Islamic treasury what they get out of the Nile and all these types of things. Okay, so therefore Muslims took Egypt, and then Amr ibn al-As reached to what is called now Cairo, but actually it wasn't Cairo. There he built, it was called Al-Fustat. So he built his city, Fustat, and it became the central of Egypt. And then he built his famous masjid, which is until now known as Masjid Amr ibn al-As. And then Amr ibn al-As went to Alexandria, and he met the ones who refused to surrender. So he attacked them and he won them. Therefore, after that, Muslims managed to, after battles, a few battles here and there, they managed to take all Egypt, and they let the Caucasian as a leader of his people there, and Muslims used to ask him consultation and stuff like that, and he used to give him his opinion about a lot of things there until he passed away, and he passed away in Alexandria. And this might be because he respected the Prophet ﷺ's message. So you see how they respected him and how he treated Muslims. He didn't attack them. He refused to be with the Romans. He didn't follow what the Romans ordered him to do. And actually, he split from Romans, and he became, but so sorry he didn't convert to Islam. So therefore, now in the days of Umar, we know Umar had now all Egypt, Syria, and all the Iraq, and okay, this is all plus the Arabian Peninsula. After this, the author spoke about a very important chapter. This chapter speaks about the Caliphates. How do the Caliphs deal? How did they used to deal? What did they used to do? What is their jobs? What are their? Because we spoke only about battles and stuff like that. We didn't speak about other things. So, in the days of the Prophet ﷺ, And the era of Abu Bakr and Umar, Islam was implemented as it is. And let us see how they used to deal with and what is the post of the caliphate? The post of the caliphate is that a man, a normal man who has some conditions, he has to be knowledgeable, man, etc. We spoke about that. He takes the post of the Prophet. So therefore, what is the post of the Prophet here? It's protecting religion, and it's taking care of all what Muslims need, and it's a political religious post. So he is a leader, a president that leads the whole Islamic nation, and on the other side, he is their leader, Islamic leader. So therefore, when the Caliph speaks, he speaks in the name of Islam, and he says the Quran says, the Sunnah says, etc. He doesn't invent things from his desires. And when anybody speaks to him and tells him the Quran says, the Sunnah says, he listens to them. So therefore, people used to treat the Caliph as the Prophet ﷺ. They respect it, although they know that he isn't prevented from mistakes. So this is what differentiates between the Caliph and the Prophet ﷺ. So the Prophet ﷺ is prevented from mistakes. It's prevented from sins and stuff like that. But the Caliph can make a sin and can make mistakes and needs people to stop and tell him, wait a second, you made a mistake. You did so and so. You didn't have to do so and so. So the people have to assess them. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, O you who believe, O you who believe, obey Allah and obey the messenger and your leaders. And he says, ولا تنقضوا الأيمان بعد توكيدها وقد جعلتم الله عليكم كفيلا إن الله يعلم ما تفعلون ولا تكونوا كالتي نقضت غزلها etc. And don't break your oaths after making it sure, and you made God as you made God as a testifier on it, and Allah Almighty knows what you're doing, etc. There are a lot of verses that speak about being honest when you give the pledge to any man, to anybody to lead you. So therefore, they used to see that disobeying the Caliph is a type of rebelling against the whole religion. And that can't happen unless you are arrogant and you feel that you are better than them, etc. This has never happened in the days of Abu Bakr and Umar, actually. Later on, things are going to change. So sorry. And the Caliph was so humble. He used to sit down with people, used to see their problems, he used to wear very humble clothes. As I told you, when Umar went to Syria, look what he used to wear. Umar was very, very humble. And so therefore, the Caliph, when he starts the first speech, the first thing he says, I became your leader, but actually I'm not the best amongst you. I'm not the best guy here. So when I say something right, help me. And if I make a mistake, stop me. He used to say that. So therefore, the Caliph was very strict in dealing with people, their property, their blood, their entity. I mean, you're not allowed to kill anybody just like that because he's against you or something like that. So they were very, very curious about these types of things. And you remember when Khalid radiallahu anh sent Abu Bakr the Persian's gift, he said, no, this is part of the booty. I won't take it. It's for Muslims. The same thing happened with Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu. So they were very humble, very careful about people's property. And they used to treat people all like each other. Here's a story when Jabalat ibn Ayham, the last Ghassani king in Egypt and in Syria, and he converted to Islam and he came to make Umrah. And when he was circumambulating the Kaaba, a Bedouin stepped on his clothes. So he went and he slapped him. Said, "Nasty guy, who are you, Bedouin, to stand on my clothes?" So the Bedouin went complaining to Umar. So Umar told him, "Come back. How come you slap this guy?" He said, "He's this." "Okay, that's not fair." "Okay, Bedouin, you have to slap that guy again." So this nasty guy slapped me. Yeah, Islam made you all like each other. So, and there's no superiority for Arabs than non-Arabs, for white people on black people. There's a very interesting story. He didn't mention it here, but it's well known. Now, Amr ibn al-As, when he was in Egypt, he made a race between young men. So his son was in the race, and an Egyptian won his son. So he went to him and slapped him. He said, "Hey, take this, and I'm the son of the nobles." He said, He slapped him. He said, "Take this from me, and I'm the son of the nobles." So the Egyptian's father was so angry, and he went to Mecca to meet Umar in Hajj. So when he met him, he said, "Oh, Amir al-Mu'mineen," or he met him in Medina. I don't know exactly, but he went to complain. So he said, okay, he sent a message to Amr ibn al-As. He said, "When Hajj comes, I want you to come with your son. You and your son come to meet me in the Hajj." And Umar used to meet all of his leaders, his governors in Hajj. So Hajj was a great council that Umar meets all the leaders. So when he met him, he said, "Did your son slap this guy's son because he won him?" And he said, "Take it from me, when I'm the son of the nobles." He said, "Yeah." So he said, "Slap this guy." So he ordered the son to slap the son as he slapped him. And he said to him a very, very important word. He said, it's in Arabic, "متى استعبدتم الناس," Umar said, "متى استعبدتم الناس وقد ولدتهم أمهاتهم أحرارا." When did you make people slaves when their mothers bore them as free people? That means, how do you dare to make people as slaves? And actually, they're not slaves. And then he went to Amr al-As and he slapped his head here. He said, "And you take this from me because you didn't know how to train your son. You didn't know how to train your son." So look how Umar radiallahu anhu was very strict even in implementing the law. His son, one of his sons, the young sons, was found drunk. So Umar ordered them to punish him, to lash him 80 lashes, as anybody else is lashed. And he became sick and he passed away. Umar didn't say anything. That's it. He said he was killed. He killed himself. So Umar was very strict. He never put his sons in any of Muslims' property. Umar once was passing with his servant Zayd ibn Aslam. SubhanAllah, Aslam was Umar's servants. And his children, all, Zayd ibn Aslam, Abdurrahman ibn Zayd ibn Aslam, all these were the scholars of Medina later on, SubhanAllah. So Aslam was with him, and they saw in the mountains close to Medina some lights. So Umar said, "Let us go there." He went there. All of a sudden, he discovered a woman sitting down, and the weather was cold, and her children were sitting down crying. He said, "Oh, woman, what are you doing?" She said, "I'm so hungry. We're hungry. We don't have anything." And I'm just, he said, "What are you cooking?" She said, "I'm not cooking anything. I'm just putting stones and pretending to cook because we don't have anything. And I want my children to sleep. They're hungry." He said, "Oh my God." He went and then he picked some flour, and then he cooked some he cooked some some bread and stuff like that. He brought her food and etc. And he used to cook with his hand. Aslam says, I used to see the smoke coming out of Umar's beard until he prepared the food for the children. They ate, and he sat down until he saw them happy, playing with each other, and then they slept. So he said, the woman said, I wish you were our Caliph instead of this Umar who doesn't care about us. I said, no, just say good words about him. And if you need anything, just go to the Caliph. You might find me there. Go to the Caliph, you'll find me there. So he went there. SubhanAllah. This is one of the interesting stories that happened in the days of Umar radiallahu ta'ala. Okay, how did the Caliphs used to deal with prayer? The Caliphs used to see that the prayer is the most important pillar of Islam, and that anybody who doesn't pray is not a Muslim. So therefore, they used to be the leaders of prayer. Any Caliph was the leader of prayer in Jumu'ah prayer, and in the two Eids, and in the main meetings. If anything happens, he calls, go to pray. So they go to the masjid and he gives this speech after praying. So, and that's why the Muslims chose Abu Bakr. They said the Prophet chose him for our prayer, so we choose him for our leadership. And they didn't used to let anybody pray at home. Everybody has to pray in the masjid. I mean, men, all adults have to pray unless they have an excuse. Therefore, this was very important, and this remained for centuries. That the Caliph is the responsible for praying. And he's called an Imam. We call al Khalif al Imam, because the Imam used to give speeches. So he's Imam in the life and in religion. You see, and they used to punish anybody who doesn't pray. Actually, the punishment of somebody who doesn't pray is the penalty of is killing. The Ahnaf say no, he has to be thrown in prison until he repents. But the majority of scholars say no, he gets killed. He has to be killed. Is he killed as non-Muslim or killed as a punishment? Two opinions, Zakat, the regular charity. The regular charity is one of the main pillars of Islam. And Allah Almighty ordered us to take it from rich people and give it to the needies. And He said in the Quran, in Surah Tawbah, that we have to give the charities to the poor guys, to the needies, and to the ones who work on it, and the ones that we want to soften their hearts, to make them close to Islam, and the ones who paid a big payment and then they got, they had big payments, so they need money. And in the sake of Allah in jihad, and to people who travel and lose their money, they don't have any money or get lost or something like that, so they need it. And this is one of the pillars of Islam. So Caliphs used to take this seriously. They used to send to all villages and cities and places to collect the zakats. And it was a big amount that is part of the state's treasury. So it's part of the state's treasury, the state's money, the state's property. You see? And one of some of it, so وفي الرقاب, I forgot, for riqab, that means to pay and buy slaves and release them, or send and let go the captives that are that were captured by enemies of Islam, etc. So therefore, this is very important. And when any people rebel and refuse to give the money to the states, they fight against them. That was like Abu Bakr. What did Abu Bakr do? Abu Bakr, radiallahu anhu, some people or some tribes refused to pay their zakats, and others rebelled. Apostatized from Islam. On Hajj, they used to take care of the Hajj. They used to put on the Hajj who, if they are not busy, they go to the Hajj, and they're the leaders of the Hajj. If they can't go, they send anybody else, and they make them the leader of the Hajj, as the Prophet ﷺ did. So they used to take care of Hajj, used to take care of all the Masjid al-Haram, Masjid al-Nabawi, prepare things, help people, so uh, they can do their Hajj in a good way. Fasting Ramadan, they were responsible for telling people that the month is Ramadan or the Ramadan has finished, etc. And they take care of all these. And they are responsible for anybody who breaks this fast. They punish the people who don't respect the month and all these types of things. So it's one of the pillars of Islam. Now, they used to take care of the the justice system. The justice system. So the justice system is very, very important. And justice system is one of the main things that the caliphs used to take care, and it's part of their job. But because the caliph can't do everything, in the days of Abu Bakr, things were easy. But in the days of Umar, it was difficult. He can't do that. So he used to make others as judges, as they judge in the name of the caliph. They judge in the name of the caliph. So Umar ordered Abu Musa al-Ash'ari radiallahu anhu to be the judge that takes care of. Actually, he can't be the judge only in Medina or he was the main judge, but there were judges in all cities, all places that Muslim conquered, and Muslims used to, the caliphs used to take care of that and put on this post only righteous, good guys who are just, who are knowledgeable, who know how to deal with this post. Okay, so therefore the judges used to be righteous. They have to be just. They have to be trustworthy. All these types of morals and manners have to be in the judges. Yes, and they have to be sure that they're following the Quran and the Sunnah. And here, he mentioned here, Umar radiallahu anhu put Abu Darda radiallahu anhu in Medina, and put Shuraih in Al-Basra, and put Abu Musa al-Ash'ari in Al-Kufa, and he sent a message, a very interesting letter that Imam Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah put a commentary on it in 4 volumes in his book, well-known book called إعلام الموقعين عن رب العالمين. That means knowing the ones who sign in the name of God. إعلام الموقعين عن رب العالمين. He means that the scholars and the judges and the people who give fatwa are doing that in the name of God. Of course, in the name of God, this is not that they speak in the name of God. No, that means they are deriving from the Quran and the Sunnah. So we don't have like what happened in the medieval era in Europe, where the Pope used to speak in the name of God, and the religious people of the church used to speak in the name of God, and that was a different case, because those used to claim that what they say is in the name of God, and although it's against the Bible, or it's against they don't have any authority to do that. But in Islam, no, any knowledgeable person that derives from the Quran and the Sunnah, and he knows the Quran and the Sunnah, and he knows Islamic knowledge, he has the right to speak and show, as long as he's speaking and following the rules. But if he makes a mistake, anyone can tell him, "Hey, guys, stop! You can't say that." I mean, a normal man or woman can go to a sheikh, a great mufti, if he makes a mistake, and tell him, "You're making a mistake." For example, he drinks. He can't say I'm drinking and I'm speaking in the name of God, Or if he does any sin, commits any sin, he can't commit the sin and say, "Well, I'm a spokesman in the name of God." No, no, we don't have that. We don't have people who speak in the name of God in this meaning. No, but we mean that when they sign, they say this is an Islamic ruling, and Islam says this. So if the signature wasn't true, that means it's a false signature, and that they're lying on God. You see how the situation is very, very dangerous? So you can go back to that message. It's very interesting, very important. Omar shows Abu Musa how to deal with this great post. The fatwa. Giving fatwa is to show. Now, what's the difference between fatwa and judgments? The judgment is a fatwa on a specific case, and it's supposed to be implemented. So the judge implements the fatwa. Well, for example, when he comes and he tells two people have a problem with each other, and they tell him, "Oh, okay, Mr. Judge, look, this guy took so and so from me, or this guy did so, or we have a problem with each other." He says, "Yeah, you're right. He's wrong, and you have to give him so and so." The Mufti says the same thing, but the Mufti, he would go back home and he doesn't care about what's going to happen because he doesn't have authority. But the judge has authority and he has to implement that. And if any one of them rejects or refuses, he will order the policeman to arrest them or to punish him. And if one of them deserves to be punished, he has to implement the punishments. So there's the difference between in the days of the Prophet ﷺ, the fatwa and the first caliphs, the fatwa was derived directly from the Quran and the Sunnah. And there were lots of scholars from amongst the Sahaba, like Aisha radiallahu anha, his wife, like Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, Abdullah ibn Umar ibn Khattab, Abdullah ibn Amr al-As, and Ali ibn Abi Talib, Uthman ibn Affan, the righteous scholars, all of them were great imams and muftis. And so these were great imams and muftis. And they used to narrate the Prophet's narrations, and they used to derive from it rulings. So, and the Caliphs, when they were confused in something or knew problems, they used to gather all these knowledgeable people and ask them, "What do you think about so and so?" Umar had a great consultation, a great council where he gathers all these guys and he asks them, "Just tell me what to do." That's why Umar didn't used to let great Sahaba go out of Medina. He says, "You have to stay with me. You have to assist me. You have to help me." Therefore, we have a lot of stories where Umar or Abu Bakr before him, and then Umar asked people what to do, and even Abu Uthman and Ali, all of them. You see, so this is and they used to give the fatwa. They used to teach people, etc. Al-hudud. Al-hudud are the had means limits, but here it means the punishments. The punishments, executions, either killing, either cutting, either lashing, or all these types. So these are hudud. They are in the Quran and in the Sunnah. And we have a lot of hudud. That means if so and so does so and so, he deserves to be killed. So we have this. Fornicating, not fornicating, it's in committing adultery, in apostatizing, in rejecting prayers or not praying, and all these types of things. Yeah. So there are other punishments by lashing, by cutting. The robbers, the thieves, they deserve their hands to get killed. There are conditions about that and stuff like that, details. So who is responsible for this? The Caliph. The Caliph is responsible for that. And that's why even the judges, when they give the order, they give it the order, and the Caliph is the one who gives them the right to fulfill the law. You see, so there are lots of laws here. There are lots of things here. jihad. Who was responsible to send the army to conquer on all these? The Caliph. He's responsible for all that, and he's the leader. That's why he gets chosen. See. So therefore, we saw how Abu Bakr and then Umar practiced this and how they conquered a huge land. Okay, I think we'll stop here, inshallah. We'll leave it here, inshallah. It's calling for Salat al-Maghrib, inshallah, here. Next week, inshallah, we'll continue. Barakallahu fikum. Next week, inshallah, we'll continue. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.